Welcome back to CockTalk, the podcast. It's been a while.
We did it.
It's been a while.
Yes.
Sometimes
We've got some new stuff set up behind us too. We're going legit.
Tyler been helping me out a lot.
Yeah.
Trying to get stuff done. By helping me out a lot, I mean pretty much doing everything. Drywall.
That's not true. That's not true. We did it together.
I put the lights up.
And you did some drywall seams.
I did.
You
do
did
some
the
drywall.
painting.
Honest assessment of my drywall.
Perfect.
Well, that's
Perfect.
not true. It wasn't perfect.
Is that real? Perfect.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Are we there?
He's there.
Joel, you want to come over to my house and do some drywall work? I suck at it. I sucked at it the first time I did it, and I still suck at it.
I think we need some fact
although I'm
checking.
not as sucky as I once was.
We need some
Actually,
fact checking.
no, I've
because
seen Mark's drywall. It is shit.
It is absolute garbage.
Now,
Now, the stuff you saw was real garbage. Like the woman, this is the first time I ever did mudding. Had never even like the concept of mudding. I was like, I don't want anything to do with this. And so then when it was like, hey, you're gonna mud this wall, I was like, okay. And then the guy that we worked for was like, here's how you do it. You do it like this. Was like, all right. So I just like just put so much mud on there. And the woman whose house it was, when I came back to like sand it or something, she's like, yeah, another guy was doing work on my house and he said this is literally the worst mud job I've ever seen in my life. And she's telling me this, and I was like, huh, yeah, funny. Like, I didn't want to make the guy I worked for look bad by saying, well, yeah, he didn't show me anything.
Yeah.
And I've never done this before. So I was like, yeah, sorry about that. Like, I just took it. But it was, that is one of the most embarrassing things that's ever happened to me.
Really?
Somebody telling me, this is the worst thing I've ever seen, and I did it, and I'm standing there doing it. She knew I did it. It was like, all right,
That's
thanks.
one of those memories
Appreciate
that
it.
randomly creeps into your mind when you're like brushing your teeth or like making your coffee in there, and you're like, oh God, I really did that.
I could think of, I could picture the room, everything. It's just like ingrained in my mind.
well, I had that happen with our painters here because I don't like painting. Not good at it. I don't even try to be good at it. I just put paint on the wall until it needs to be sold, and then I'll pay someone to come and do it. So I don't care enough about it. And we had painters come in when we tried to sell our house last year, and they're like, yeah, look at this terrible paint job. All this stuff, this drywall looks like shit, and the paint looks like shit. And they nonstop for 2 days did not
Oh my God.
stop talking about how bad the paint job was, to the point where I almost kicked him out of my house. That's how frustrated I was.
The only way to be a good contractor is to put down the contractor before you.
Yeah.
So that you look better.
That's actually Trades 101.
Yeah, it really is.
When you go to-
I
when
haven't
you go
met
to
a
trade
contractor that has spoken nicely about another guy's
I think we
work.
should do a rewind though, because I'm pretty sure like 2 or 3 episodes ago, you and we talked about, as a joke, me coming to work at drywall for you, and you said I would never hire you.
It's true.
And then
You
now
gotta
it's
find
perfect.
that. You got to find that.
It's true. I'm trying to be nice, okay?
You know who
We're
are
on
the true
air.
judge?
It's all lies.
The true judge of your work is an inspector.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
They don't care about how your drywall finish looks.
Yeah, but if the inspector goes, I know you, I don't even need to look at it.
Then
Then you know you're in good
props.
shape.
That's props.
Unless your reputation is your shit.
Unless,
They say,
well,
I don't need to look at it. I know
it's
it's
going to be bad.
No, it's a fail.
Yeah, 100%. But Mark, you have a very interesting T-shirt on.
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, this is my Atomic Souls t-shirt. And you can tell us about Atomic Souls. I am the model.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate that you picked me to be a model.
Why
But
not?
Here I am.
You're the fittest guy here. Why wouldn't we pick you?
Go ahead and give us a flex.
yeah,
Give us a
where's
flex.
your hat, Joel?
Show off those arms.
You had a hat.
Okay. I lost my hat.
Wait, you actually lost it, or like?
No, I lost the hat.
He just got it.
We got him a week ago. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I wore it to our whiskey tour, not thinking about the fact that.
And that's where I wore my hat. I wore it there, and it never made it home.
So what we've really got here is an issue with you drinking alcohol.
Our boy stole it.
Sounds like we need to have him give you a call.
Which is
or you
interesting.
give him a call.
It's interesting that you say that, because Atomic Souls is actually a company dedicated to helping people in addiction recovery. So you might not be too far off. Maybe I need to call someone. But to answer your question, Mark, Atomic Souls just launched a clothing line, which we're really excited to be working with them and featuring them, because 80% of all profits made from any of the clothing sales goes towards scholarships to helping those who can't afford addiction recovery.
And they're sweet shirts.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
They're high quality.
Yeah, I've got a sweatshirt. It's so soft. I love it. I mean, it's too hot right now. It's the middle of summer, but I tried it on.
my hat before I lost it.
Yeah.
I looked at this shirt and was like, this shirt's going to be way too big, dude. Like, why did I get, maybe, like, I always get XL, but I was like, this thing looks like a double XL. Put it on and it fit me like a glove. And then I'm realizing that every shirt I buy is probably way too small or like too short.
When you raise your arms up,
and you're like, yeah, baby.
Yeah.
A little belly line.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder, like, could I get away with a crop top? You know, there were some guys in the 80s that crop topped it. Richard Simmons,
try once.
Rip. But
R.I.P.
Right.
Not for me, man.
Speaking of, well, that was a bad transition. I was going to say, speaking of dead people, but Trump didn't die.
He didn't die.
He didn't die. He made it.
Just
that
a
was
Nick.
That was interesting. No, his name is Donald, not Nick.
Nick Desir.
That sounds like a French man. Nick Desir.
That's an Indian name.
Yeah, obviously this is Donald Trump getting shot in the ear is a big hit right now. I'm just a fan of all of the renditions of 50 Cent songs that they're now doing with Donald Trump. I mean, that's just that's gold.
Well, I just want to know which conspiracy is true, because it is funny because it's like all of a sudden, you know, the left is like, oh, there's a psyop, and they're like, we've been telling you that for so long.
Yeah,
but
well, now it's here.
Now what? But see, which one's true? Was it like Trump's behind it to get reelected? Because you better believe he's getting reelected now. There's like no doubt about it. The guy who almost got killed for his country.
There's no way he's volunteered to get shot at that close to his head. There's like, and it's definitely not a theatrical. Like, it's not fake blood. He definitely got hit. My question is,
how do you know?
My question is
blood cap. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, but I mean, my question is, what's going on? Why was this guy allowed on this roof? There was people in the crowd saying, there's a guy up there with a rifle, and nobody was doing anything. To me, this screams some level of there's a hole that was made.
Someone did this on purpose.
It was allowed
on purpose.
Yeah, there was clearly a hole that was made, and
it was literally the only building that they could be on.
Yeah, well, there's about a dozen. They counted about a dozen
the ones that were
windows,
super close, but
buildings.
that was like 150 yards away.
You got to be up there
nothing.
watching it.
That's nothing.
Yeah,
I might even be able to make that shot from 150 yards, and I'm not a very good shot with a rifle. That's where you gotta ask a lot of questions that won't be answered for
kitted out too.
25 years.
This wasn't just like an AR-15 with iron sights. Like
I heard it was his father's rifle. Really.
Either way,
is his father now going to go to jail because he provided him the gun?
No,
like
because he was above 18.
Oh, he's above 18. Yeah.
But I would say, I think this obviously is going to show how far all this divisiveness has come, how kind of crazy all the shit is that's going on right now, and then how that plays into like how do we be best prepared, especially being not only in an election year but coming up on the actual presidential election with all of this stuff happening. How do we as citizens prepare ourselves for any of these natural disasters or these civil unrest or like anything that could be coming up soon?
Well, I think you should share. What action are you taking in your personal life that to strengthen your security of your home?
Right now, to be honest, I am in a battle with an unnamed refrigerator freezer company that can't seem to get me my parts for my chest freezer.
Okay. I'm thinking more of a furry option.
Well,
to see your security.
He really wants you to bring out your new dog.
I want to see the dog. I want to see the puppy. People want to see the puppy.
Time. Maybe at the end.
Maybe like a little short later on.
Maybe.
You can do
Everybody wants to see an 11-week.
Joel got a
12-week.
11 weeks.
An 11-week-old German Shepherd.
He's a cutie.
With ears that just point
Straight
to the
up.
sky
Yep.
all the time.
All right, I might bring him out later. But I would say one thing that I'm really focused on right now is trying to get my chest freezer back up and running so we can get quarter cow, get a pig,
Nice.
whatever. So we can stock the freezer full.
Some venison.
Yeah. And have...
Do you guys hunt?
some
You want
supplies.
to go hunting with me this fall?
hunt?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm not kidding you. I'm gonna
would
go out to
absolute-
Dexter this fall. I got a crossbow. We can
I would love to.
see if we can bag one
I
or
would
two
absolutely
or
love
three.
to. I told Kate in the next 10 years, I have a 10-year goal that I would like to hike a mountainside, kill an elk,
Wow.
and then carry its head on my back
Oh,
down
wow.
the side of the mountain.
That is no
That-
joke.
That to me is like...
Start Parkinson's?
No.
Oh,
The old, like this...
Dude,
shaking a lot.
I know seasoned hunters that have done that, gone out west for the elk hunts and have not fared well at all. It is brutal.
Yeah.
You're up in
Cool.
these mountains. You've got to find water that's clean. If you don't find clean water, you're shitting yourself the whole
wanna
time you're
do
out
it.
there.
Well, you
It's
gotta bring
miserable.
a little
Life straw.
purifier thing, right?
What's the thing? Life straw? Is that what it's
Yeah.
called?
You hope it works.
Well, that's if the
You hope it
water's
works.
running.
So it did not work
Oh.
for them. I don't know if it was. I don't think it was a life straw, but they have a filtration system that did not work properly, and one of the guys was sweating and throwing up and just pooping
Beaver
everywhere.
I'll tell you what.
Gross.
There's a different term for that where I come from. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
When things like this happen, the knee-jerk reaction is, oh boy, like, look at our world, look where we're going, we got to do something about this. And that is absolutely true. You need to go, you need to start, but the time to start was yesterday, not today. So the next time something happens, don't let yourself look back to this and go, oh, I wish I had started back then when I knew something was going to happen. Like, there's been so many opportunities along the way for you to go plant a tree or for you to go and connect with a farmer. Like, you don't have to have any land. You can live in an apartment. You can have a regular freezer, and you can make friends with farmers.
Yep.
To where if something happened, if you are close enough with that person, where they're going to help you out. And close, I mean like in relationship with that person, that you don't have to have finances or land. You can just be yourself and make a friend and like give somebody a hand doing things. That's the bare minimum. Next level is go plant a freaking apple tree, pear tree, whatever tree today, so that in 3 years, 4 years, the next election, when we're saying the same exact thing, you actually have some stuff coming into your own home on your land. I mean, you don't need very much land to grow an apple tree. Just go start an apple tree. They're like $40 at Home Depot.
You can get them half off sales.
Well,
I think.
then you got to keep them alive. But
Well,
yeah.
it's not that hard. Give it water every day. Water every day, and every now, like beginning of the season, middle of the season, end of the season, give it some fertilizer.
I think back to your point about, if we were to stereotype farmers, and your point was go befriend a farmer, how easy would it be to really befriend a farmer?
Dude, if somebody came up to my property and was like, hey, I'd like to help you do something on your land,
Yeah.
just because like I can't do it and I'd like to learn, I'd be like, this is weird because my driveway's 300 feet long and you're at my door, but okay, give me your number and we can text or something. But I'd be fine with it.
I think every farmer wants
I don't even have
a free hand
Yeah.
and a chance to teach about farming. Honestly, like I feel like there's so much lack of knowledge.
Yeah, anyone
when it comes to it, that they would take any opportunity to get a chance to teach somebody what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, we're where my dad lives, they have neighbors around there with large plots of land. They've got cattle, they've got farms, and their kids don't necessarily want to take it over. So they're kind of at this spot in their life where late 70s, 80s, like they're not gonna be around much longer, and they got no one to take it.
Yeah.
Like, so you had an opportunity to go work someone's farm and have some sort of mutually beneficial relationship. Like, that's a big deal too.
Dude, have you guys seen that show on Netflix? It's like a something Alaska. It's like a guy who in the 80s went to Alaska with nothing and just built a house and then like built this whole infrastructure. Now he like built himself an airstrip and all this stuff, all by hand, all by himself. He has a wife now, but he went out there by himself, and it's like this incredible house. And they're old, and he decided, I just want to give it to someone who is going to further what we've already done. And they do a competition. Whoever wins the competition gets to keep the house.
That's fun.
I don't know. I'm sure that he got some kind of financial benefit to it, but
yeah. Well,
but the people on the show, it was just, hey, whoever shows that they're the best, he got to pick the winner. And he just picked the winner. Hey, you and your wife get to come live here.
Wow.
And it's the same sentiment, right? Like, I don't have anybody who wants to take this, but I don't want it to just end up in the hands of some investor who's going to turn it into something else that it's not.
100%.
Yeah. And as far as taking your relationships with farmers, I mean, it's not as if any of us actually have like a full-blown farm. I mean, I have 5 acres, and it's not, I wouldn't consider it like a full-blown farm, although it is a legal farm. It's not what you would picture in a book.
Sure.
I mean, all of us can be doing this, and it is what we're trying to do here. But I guess the other question is, what do I do to protect myself when you're feeling like this, right? Like, somebody just got shot at. How do I protect my family now? You know, like, there's other crazy people out there. And aside from like, well, get a gun, which we all know, like, of course, that's a pretty standard. Maybe start with something to protect your family. Is there anything else that you guys do to keep your families?
I would say it's not enough to just get a gun. You actually have to know how to use it. So even if you grew up like I did, you grew up kind of in the South and you're around guns at a very young age. Like, I remember shooting my grandfather's 12 gauge shotgun. I wasn't more than like 8 years old. Damn near blew my shoulder off.
Yeah, right.
But like, I was always around guns. So I've never been nervous. Like, my dad, when I was growing up, taught gun safety at a very young age. I do the same thing with my girls. I've actually had my kids able to disassemble and reassemble a slide on their own. I don't know that I would want them to do that on a regular basis just at this young of age, but it can be done. But they understand gun safety as well. Like, so I think that's part of it, but also like how to use the gun and personal protection. I think as men, obviously we have a responsibility to be the protectors of our family. So you need to not only be able to be violent when needed, but also you need to be able to save a life when needed. Having first aid understanding, having like stop the bleed courses are free. Like, you can take free stop the bleed courses and learn how to properly apply a tourniquet, stop a heavy bleed versus a small bleed, like, and identifying the differences between them. I think that's a big deal. And then I think you need to be able to provide for yourself and be self-sufficient with your basic necessities like food and water.
And people think you need to, I got to have like 30 to 90 days worth of, you got the like survival stuff in your basement,
jars.
Or there's the freeze dried stuff, and I mean that's cool. I know some people who have like 6 months worth of stuff, and they can afford to buy it all, and they've got it.
And
that's
store
cool.
it all.
The tough or the unnecessary part is that for the most part, you're probably looking at 3 days. 3 days is probably the longest you're going to go, where you really you can't go anywhere. You need water, you need food. More than 3 days, you're talking about something that's unprecedented.
Well, I think,
but 3 days is like, everyone should be prepared to last for 3 days on their own.
Yeah. Well, I think it was, and we saw it with the pandemic too. I think the statistic is, or the understanding is, you've only got about 3 days before of some sort of natural disaster where conveniences are gone and which society starts to break down. We saw it with the toilet paper. Everybody, for some reason, needed toilet paper so badly that they were hoarding it, during COVID. All of a sudden, you shitting that much? Like, why do you need so much toilet paper?
That's why I bought a bidet.
See, self-sufficiency.
I bought a bidet.
You got a water line, self-sufficiency.
Are you on a well, Mark?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Yep.
So
I'm
you
so
don't even
jealous.
need city water.
So
Look at
here's-
that.
I just need electricity. I don't have
Yeah.
any. I need the grid.
Here's
so.
the thing with that. This is where I realize that even with in-depth preparation that I go through or that I do, I live in the city. I live in city limits. I live like in a neighborhood. Unfortunately, my neighborhood has an HOA. The worst part is I received a notice in the mail a couple weeks ago, and it says you are required to do a backflow pressure test. Now, if you don't know what a backflow system is, if you have a sprinkler system, there is a backflow system that's in line with the sprinkler system that keeps the water from going into the sprinkler line and then back into the main water source. I get it. It's necessary. We've never used our sprinkler system since we bought this house. It's been years. It's decommissioned. But I would have to have a plumber come out and certify that it is in working order and pay a plumber to do that, or I have to pay someone to come out and remove the backflow system, cap it, call the city, have them come and verify that it was done for them not to shut my water off.
Ow.
Is there no way for you to just cut
You
the
could-
copper line and put a cap on it and
And then
call
call
it a
them and
day?
say, "Hey, I had."
That's exactly
You could
what I
put
did.
a shark
Yep.
bite on it and
Yep.
just be done with it.
See, luckily, that's exactly what I did. But I think in that moment, it made me realize that, sure, I have a small homestead on just under an acre of property. It's not a lot, I can get by, but I don't actually own any of this. I have a mortgage. I don't own the house. The bank owns the house. I don't own the land. The city owns land because I pay taxes on the land. I don't own the water. The city owns the water.
I think at the end of the day, if if the real goal is preparedness and self-sufficiency, is that really going to matter in the end?
I absolutely think it does. Like, I think that if...
Sorry, what are we saying doesn't matter? What do you mean it doesn't matter?
I'm sorry.
Like who owns the land?
Yeah,
or-
like if the government owns the land, what is it like? If we're in a futile state situation, what's going to happen to your land? Honestly, like there's too many people. There's too much going on. Your land is the least of their concerns. Who owns it at that moment?
Maybe the actual physical land itself, but if there's an issue with the water supply and you don't have your own source, like a well, like that could be an issue. If in extreme circumstances, you look at a complete government shutdown. Well, if there's a government shutdown and world goes into chaos, nobody's out there just like working the water supply system. You don't have water after a while.
Well, the good news is the electrical company is not run by the government. That's a private institution.
ish.
Yeah.
They all get government funding to do
They
everything
sure do.
that they do.
They sure do, but they're
But you're right.
different. They're separate,
It
right?
technically is separate.
Yeah. The water obviously is separate, but if a private company can make energy, certainly a private company can do water.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I think that's possible. It's definitely not something that can happen overnight, though. Like that's got to be.
But
That's a whole infrastructure.
But that's also that is a very extreme direction.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it does happen in the world. I'm sure someday it will happen.
Yeah.
Here at some point, maybe, but there's smaller scale. Like, hey, crap's happening. Like the world feels like it's out of control. I was gonna go to something a little more simple. Is that sometimes for your family you just
calling
have
me
to.
an extremist, Mark?
No, I'm not calling you an extremist. I'm glad you're ready for like the Walking Dead
wait.
parts.
But I'm
Is
ready.
it-
That's the problem.
But is he though?
I'm not. No,
Sure.
I'm not.
True.
Stressing me out.
What I was gonna say is that the first
That's something
place
an
to
extremist
start
would
is
say.
protecting the mind of your family, because you can't do you cannot really be prepared for anything unless you
true.
have gobs
Yeah.
of money and you have yourself a bunker with everything you'd need to live for years. It's like Fallout times 10. You're probably not prepared for anything. So doing the simple things is just keep your family's mind free of thinking that their life you can go down rabbit holes with your family that they don't
Sure.
need to be involved in, because like I think that like, am I strong enough to have this conversation with myself or like with my friends?
You're pretty strong.
Is my wife in a position to where like we could sit down and talk about end of the world stuff? Maybe mine is not. She's like, I don't want anything to do with that. Like that's just gonna make me feel worried and anxious, and I
Yeah.
don't want to think about it. And so I have to protect her mind. And like, of course, we're not telling any of our kids that like, well, Trump got shot, the world might be, like,
Yeah.
there's no reason to go down that road with someone who is so young that they couldn't possibly really grasp every aspect of it. You have the oldest daughter out of all of us, but all that to be said, I'm just saying that the place you can start with no money is to protect your family's mind.
So I've got two thoughts on that. I think one, I think that depending on your situation, it may cost a lot. If you're in the city, it's going to cost a shit ton of money in order for you to be prepared for everything. However, if you're already out in the country, or you have, a place like yours where you're away from major city stuff, you've got enough land, like you could probably get by on your 5 acres doing everything that you could possibly need to survive indefinitely. You can make your own food. You've got a well for water, figure out an electricity system. Like, you'd probably be okay.
I don't think you even need electricity. If you're really, I mean, this is all hypothetical about world end stuff, right? But if we're in that spot, electricity is going to mean absolutely nothing.
Sure.
We're not going to need our cell phones.
Well, you're not gonna, but you need light,
our
you
cars.
need heat,
It's going to be smaller knit communities. It's going to revert back until the infrastructure gets built again, and I think it would be. Like, there's no way that it's not going to be, because the knowledge is there.
We're not going back
for
to the
that
Stone Age.
technology. Like, there's too many people involved for that to just go away completely.
Yeah. Well, I'd say my second thought to what you said, though, Mark, is that there are smaller things, like when we had that storm rip through a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Knocked out our power for multiple days at a time. And
thank God I was prepared with your generator.
Yes. Thankfully he was, because I did not have one yet. But
that's also why you rely on friends.
I agree.
You can't have
Community is really a big part of it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that the night that it got knocked out, we were fine through the night, because we were able to, hey, I've got sleeping bags, I've got air mattresses, we can sleep downstairs instead of upstairs where it's cooler. We can open windows. We've got lights. We got battery powered lights. I've got flashlights. We've got like little glow sticks, like emergency glow sticks for the kids to like have fun during kind of a stressful time.
Yeah, so you protected your family's mind. You made a stressful situation fun. You did it. Yeah,
you pitch it as we're camping out in the living room. We've got glow sticks. Like, it's no big deal. Everything's fine. But we've got food stored. We've got water stored downstairs. So if we needed to last for a few days, like, we would last for a few days. It'd be a little rough on the parents, but the kids would be fine. That's all that matters. So little things like that, I think you could do that would make a big impact on a larger inconvenience or a larger issue for consecutive days. Do you do any sort of preparation, Tyler?
No.
Or am I the crazy one?
No, I think you are the crazy one.
Okay.
I don't have a firearm. I mean, I do have a 22, but that's not like a safety thing.
He doesn't have a firearm.
It's a blinker.
I have a crossbow, and I wanted to bring this up earlier. I guess now is a good time. What if there's an individual that's not comfortable? Like, it's okay to not be comfortable with guns, because you've seen somebody, you know somebody where the kid somehow finds out the code and makes a mistake. Like, that happens, and there's some people that don't want that risk of that potentially happening. Maybe they've got a really smart kid, a nosy kid, and they just know, like, I can't do that.
Or you have trauma because of guns.
Yeah, like, totally. There's obviously got to be another option for this whole, house survival protection. What's maybe one of those options? Because, I mean, I think about I have a crossbow, which I could pull out, but the time it takes for me to like actually load this thing, like it doesn't
you're not
really
going to
work.
shoot someone in your house with a crossbow. I guess that's
no. I mean, I really could, right? Like, it's possible, but the time it takes to load that thing is a lot. It's a lot different than just going, and you're ready to go.
I truthfully believe. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, like, I think, like, for our house, my wife is really not comfortable with guns. She has an OT for a mom and a PT for a sister, so she's seen a lot of tragic stuff. And so she's a little more wary of things, and I respect that. And so we don't have a pistol because of that, because we don't want that risk. But we have a dog, You know, if somebody comes to the door, my dog is there barking.
Yeah,
and I think that's
is.
a pretty good deterrent, like house protectant that is really easy to manage. Like it's adding another family member to your, you know, to your family. And
it's a lot of work.
And if your house, unless they're after your house in particular, if they can just go to the next house,
that's going to be. But I don't, even on that point, I don't think it's that hard. I mean, you've got like probably 3 months of hard work with a dog, and then they're pretty self-reliant. Like once you teach them all of the things that you need them to do, like my dog just lays around all day. You know, but as soon as somebody comes to the door, she springs into action. You know, like there's not really.
And your dog's good off leash too.
Yeah, she can roam the yard. She can roam. Yeah, she doesn't run away or anything like that. She's just a smarter dog breed. Yeah. You know, she's got Aussie and she's got Shepherd in her, so she's used to like tending to her flock. Yeah, which I think is a great.
Her ancestors are used to tending to her flock.
Yeah, it's those instincts, you know,
built in.
So we got baby ducks, and she would actually walk around those baby ducks to keep them all together. It was super cute. Just we didn't teach her anything. She just saw them out, and she immediately just started doing circles around them to keep them all together.
Well, you answered your own question a little bit. A dog is a great.
I'm just kind of curious if you guys have a different like thought to that, because there has to be more options than just a dog, right? Like we can brainstorm, and
I'll end up going really deep down this rabbit hole, so I'll let you answer first.
Do you want me to be like really nice about this, or should I just be a dick?
What do you mean? Why don't you do both?
All right, if I was a dick, I would say,
wait, aren't you a dick? He's like, come on, man.
Sometimes. Can be.
If I was being a dick, I would say get over yourself and do what you need to do to protect your family. I'm friends with your wife. Of course, would I actually say that to her face in a moment of like her saying, "Here's why I don't want to have a gun"? No, I would never. I would not say that.
Podcast.
I would not say that. Instead, I'm going to tell you how to find her on Instagram. That's. Part of me wants to go there, right? Is just to say like, well, if you aren't willing to go there, then guess what? If the reason you're buying it is to plan for like a really screwed up situation. Now, if it's just like, hey, somebody might break into our house, of course, there's plenty of you can have a bat, you can have a knife, you can do all sorts of things and have the potential of protecting your family. You can have a dog. But if we're talking about a shit hits the fan scenario, then the guy who was comfortable with the gun is going to beat you because he has a gun. And like, but are you comfortable with going, well, I don't think that's very likely to happen, and I can't risk my sanity to have a gun in the house? Well, then you can't. But yeah, you're going to lose probably if you don't have one and the SHTF scenario occurs. Are you really worried about that? You're probably not so far down that rabbit hole that you're like, Anna, I'm sorry, don't give a shit about your feelings. This is happening. Like, you're not going to do that.
No.
And that's okay.
I did.
You did, yeah.
I did that.
You did.
Kate's the same way. She does not do guns. And I said, that's fine. You don't have to do guns, but I'm going to do guns. And we don't have a lot of guns. I only have one for sport. I lost all my guns in a boating accident.
Yes. I was there, actually. We were in the same boat.
Okay, now if I was being nice.
Yeah. Oh, that was all one.
If I was being kind. Yeah, it was all one. Yes. I know. It was really long-winded and fun for you. If I was being kind, I would probably say your alternative to a SHTF kind of is that you need to go and like probably have all your windows fitted for a piece of plywood so that you can patch every single thing up in your house, because at least then you know somebody's coming. You can have you got to do all those little things, those extra weird things. Do you have pieces of plywood here?
I don't. But damn it,
I'd be so pissed if somebody broke my windows. You know how much money I paid for those things?
There's a lot of things you can do that don't require cutting up pieces of plywood. One of them is 3M makes security film that you can cut and apply yourself to any window. So it'll actually withstand multiple hits from full swings from a hammer.
Is that like the stuff that you put on your iPhone? Like it's the same material?
It's kind of the same thing, but it's more flexible. It's more like a film than just like this like kind of plastic-y cover. There's a film, and it's actually like pretty reasonably priced. Like for all the windows in your house, you could do for a few $100. And that's including like 1-story, 2-story. I mean,
and you wouldn't.
I have
really
a lot
need to
of
do
fucking
the
windows in my house, and like I could do my whole house for about $400 to $500.
Oh yeah, you have a room that's literal windows.
It's literally just a bunch of windows. So you can do that. A simple thing that you can do for like $15 is reinforce all your doors with 2.5-inch construction screws. So all your door frames, every 16 inches or so, you can put in a 2.5-inch construction screw in the frame and make it way harder to break down.
You can't say that on this podcast, man. I can't you're gonna no. Do not put screws
I've already done
every 16 inches on your
I've
door
already
frames.
done it.
Oh my god!
Actually, I did it every 12 inches just in case.
12 inches.
Did you like just putty over top of it or something, or cock over it? Or?
No.
He doesn't put putty on anything.
No.
So
Have you seen his drywall?
Now it's.
You heard me talking about my drywall. You know I didn't putty those screws. Hell no.
Oh man.
No,
So the thing that I would say is don't do that. Okay? And here's why. Because you can warp your door and then the waterproofing's gonna get messed up. If it all goes to shit and you need to protect your house, then put the screws in. Don't do it now.
Yeah,
do it
let's
later.
wait until someone tries to break in. You say, hold on, let me reinforce my door real quick, and then you can try to break in.
Pre-drill.
I think
pre-drill all the holes, and then it'll be really easy to.
I'm picturing this conversation in more of a dystopian situation than what we are in now. It's not that bad.
Dude, every house I move into, that's one of the first things I do.
We don't live in a bad neighborhood.
Speak for yourself. No, we don't. We don't
live in a bad area.
No, but I came from a bad area.
It also doesn't mean that just because hey, my in-laws, something happened to their house and they live in a very expensive house. Like, it doesn't matter what neighborhood you live in. You know, if somebody wants to target your neighborhood, or like, hey, you live in a good neighborhood, it's great, let's go after your house.
So and the other critique I would have to you is anybody who has any sort of knowledge about breaking into doors knows a couple things, right? You can take the jam off and then you just run a Sawzall right down the line of your screws and they're all gone.
Okay.
Which is going to be a lot of work.
Yeah. No, it's not. You know how I used to do doors. Okay, you know, that's what we would do every time. We would run it right down the side, and we would take a door out in less than 30 minutes.
But 30 minutes is a long time.
No, I'm just saying it's not.
It's just the dumbest argument I've ever heard.
I'm saying that if there's a way, they will do it. Well, right?
Okay, so
you are doing it so that nobody could ever get in.
Hold on, we're talking about a scenario in which they know that I have done this.
Yeah,
they come prepared with a crowbar.
Well, they know now. They heard it on the podcast.
They want to break in. That's what they're doing. So they come with their pry bars. They come with their battery operated tools. They come with a chainsaw just to cut a hole in the door.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying? They come prepared.
There's only two ways that ends. One, they make it in the house because I'm not there.
Mm-hmm.
Two, they either the cops get there first, or they don't make it through the doorway.
Mm-hmm.
Because I will be ready on the other side.
Sure.
Which literally just happened the other night.
With your pistol.
That I don't have.
That you lost in that boating accident.
Lost it in a boating accident.
That boating accident was really unfortunate.
Oh, yes. It was the red one, right?
Yes. The boat was red.
Yes.
Anyway,
boys, is there anything you wanted to?
That's one. Well, okay, I won't go into the other ones. It's fine.
You go. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. I apologize.
There's a lot more.
You had more.
Please.
I feel that exterior landscape lighting goes a long way. Between that and a home security system, can do a lot.
I actually really like the exterior landscaping especially if it's motion activated. The second that turns on, I'm sure they get pretty conscious about what they're doing.
Can I tell you about someone's house that I am close with that has done something like this? And not only does lights turn on, a car pulls into the driveway. Boing, 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 boing,
Oh, that
boing,
would be so annoying.
for like about a minute, and then
Gosh.
they can just turn it off. But holy
Oh my
smokes, I pull up to their house at like 9 p.m. and that thing's going off.
That's a deterrent.
I like it.
It's
Oh
a different
my
level,
gosh.
but they like. No one's getting into that.
When
place.
I get out
That's
into the
Fort
country,
Knox.
I'm doing tripwires.
Tripwires.
Wires and then an axe.
Yeah, so that's
No.
actually illegal. You can't set booby traps around your house.
Yeah, don't set traps.
Booby
I'm
traps
just
are
talking
illegal?
about
Mhm.
tripwires.
Oh yeah. Even if it's on your own domain, booby traps are. So that whole Home Alone video, totally illegal.
Well,
Illegal.
they wouldn't have convicted an 8-year-old boy trying to protect his house. That's the other thing is that it might be illegal,
Oh.
but are they going to convict you of a crime?
Oh
from
yeah,
somebody who was breaking into your house.
Absolutely.
I don't
know. I don't know.
So I don't know about in the home, but
Oh, outside the home, of course.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you're gonna booby trap your land,
Well,
that's
why
a
you
big.
get tripwires.
Yeah,
Listen, they have tripwires that will connect to a blank 12 gauge shell.
a
that-
blank.
It's a blank.
just for noise.
Oh,
Yes,
scare them?
it
Okay.
is the same decibel level as a real
Oh
12 gauge
gosh,
shotgun.
that would scare the piss out of me.
Yeah. Dunzo. No one's going back after
Instantly
that.
like,
I'm in.
Yeah, and then when like your mother-in-law is going over to your house to get you something because you forgot something and you forgot to tell her about the tripwire, and then she dies of a heart attack because
Sounds like poor planning.
it's true. Does sound like poor planning.
She should have been stronger.
Okay,
So-
hold on. There's probably more. I feel like
I'm good.
you're
I'm good.
no,
I'm
but
good.
you're gonna put out more as reels this week.
oh,
You have to.
All right.
Oh.
Put more out. So go CockTalk the podcast on Instagram or TikTok. You find the rest.
I'm going to
We'll put them
showcase my door jams with all of my screw
Yes,
holes.
you must.
Please, I would love to see
Please.
them. I would
And
love
then
to see
let's
them.
do a side by side
And
with
then-
Tyler. You can do a
What-
video with Joel's
what not to do to
like
your
put
home?
your green screen on Joel's video and talking about how ridiculous it is.
Look at this stupid guy. Look at what he's doing with these doors. Yeah. You
He
just
thinks he's
ask it
protecting
for it.
his home, and then I'll disassemble your doors.
Yeah, can we just do one where Tyler sawzaws all your doors?
Do you have a door you want to replace?
Should we have a?
Don't you want to replace that back door?
I do
I'll
need
show
it.
you how to break into that in no time. You get your 3M, and I'll break in for you, and we'll shoot a video.
I'm gonna spend all that money on 3M just for you to break into
I'll pay
on
for
purpose?
it. I'll pay for it.
Deal.
It's
No
just
problem.
to buy time.
Actually, we'll make the podcast pay for it
Listen,
with
well,
the no
how
money
about,
that we.
no? What we should do is we should just have you try to break into my home one night
With
And
with
see
your
who
knowledge,
wins.
with your knowledge.
and see who wins.
Tyler will bring his bow and Joel will bring his one.
No, he's
his
not.
one-
He's gonna bring his hammer. He's gonna bring his crowbar. He's gonna bring his sawzall, a portable generator
A
to
chain?
plug it all in.
Hey, no,
you said
no,
that
that's
you
plugged in.
said
That's
booby
charged
traps.
beforehand.
Booby traps are illegal. How about like a threshold over the front of your door that falls in? You
Joel,
know, like a trap door.
I bet I could
There's
get
trap
into your
doors in
house. I
barns.
bet I could.
Okay, we'll see.
You know, I have
don't.
I have intimate knowledge of this house.
You
though.
do. You do know
So,
the inside.
I
and
think
out
I
of his
could do
house.
it, but I'm not
But
good.
do you know all of the planks in the floor that make a squeaking sound?
No,
Because
I
I
don't.
do.
I don't know. I have done a couple walks back and forth through the upstairs hall.
3, 7, 13.
Even with
what I
carpet
do
over
is
it,
I
I know
put
where the
an
spot
invisible
is.
ink on them, so that way when I come through with my black light, I've got those labeled for me.
There it is. We're
We're
prepared.
coming to that one.
All right,
Anyway.
boys.
Is that it for
I
us?
think that's it.
All right.
Is there
Let's
anything
call it
else?
there.
Anything else we
Oh,
just want to say before?
I mean, I got we got bullshit and we could do later.
I will say, we did have a wonderful, absolutely wonderful time at Detroit City Distillery
Yes.
a couple weeks ago, doing their bespoke. How do you say that word? Do you know how to say that word?
Bespoke.
Bespoke. Is that okay? Bespoke bourbon tour with the great Michael Babcock.
That's true. Not the head coach of the former head coach of the Detroit Red Wings, Toronto Maple Leafs, and barely the
Canadian.
Columbus Blue Jackets.
And the Canadian
This is my one
national
opportunity
team.
to talk hockey on this show. Didn't actually. Oh, did we just get shut off? Oh, because my phone died.
Oh, you're good.
Oh, you kicked.
I left.
You got,
My
you
guy
got
left.
kicked.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Perfect timing.
he was the brand manager.
Okay. Yeah, the brand ambassador, Michael Babcock for Detroit City Distillery, is an absolute gem of a human. for the
He's-
short time that we spent
he's
with
coming
him.
on our
He's
show.
ruthless, man.
Yeah.
You're in there, and he's so nice and generous that he gives you too much to drink. Like,
Give you
and
too
it's
much to drink.
all it's
You're allowed to
all
spit
like
it out.
part of it. He's like, yeah, you want another?
is
Here
what
you go.
she
Here,
said.
try this, try that, and you don't even know what you're drinking. You don't, at the end of it, you don't even know that you are
Actually,
still
he
drinking.
said this is 140 proof. This one's 130 proof.
Yep, he called it out every time. He was sitting there in the
I don't
middle of
know
a
about that.
conversation. If you go back and watch the reel that we put out, you see Tyler get caught red-handed trying to drink stuff straight from the
I
bottle
wasn't
that's
drinking. I was
unlabeled.
smelling it. He told me it was
Yeah.
straight from the still, and I wanted to see if it smelled like corn.
It very much
fair.
smelled like corn.
fair.
But
Took me back.
I say all that to say, shout out to Detroit City Distillery.
Yeah.
An
Thank
amazing whiskey company that puts out incredible spirits. They do rum, they do gin, they do rye, bourbon, and a couple variations of each. But Michael Babcock will hopefully be joining us in the next month or so, I
Yeah.
believe,
August, I
on the
think.
podcast to talk bourbon and talk whiskey, because we haven't done a bourbon episode.
No,
in
we've
quite
been
a
wanting
while.
to.
Yeah. We'll get
So
on that.
I think it's about time we'll get one on the books. In the
We'll
next
get somebody
couple
who
weeks.
knows. Well,
Way more than I
Tyler
do.
knows. Tyler was schooling him a little bit on that.
Well,
tour.
he's not a distiller. He's just
Yeah.
the guy that does the touring. So
But he still was really smart with a lot of
Yeah,
that
he
stuff.
knew his
so I
stuff.
was pretty impressed. But I'm excited to have him on. We're going to bring out a bunch of different whiskeys. We'll do like a nice
Yeah.
whiskey tasting.
yeah,
love it.
absolutely.
So
We'll all bring our favorites.
awesome.
Let us know what your favorite whiskey is. Maybe we'll
Yes.
try it out on the show.
We want to try new
That'd be fun.
drinks, new
Yeah.
new
If you want to
brands.
buy us some whiskey,
Send
ship
it to
it
us
to
to
us.
try it.
yeah,
We'll give you a
hit
shout
us
out.
up.
Ship it.
But
We'd love it.
awesome.
Toodaloo.
Thanks.
Peace.
See you.